today on Beyond the Canvas, Episode 2, we have European Floetrol. I'm going to teach you all about this amazing product, what it's capable of doing, what techniques you can use it for, and so much more. So get out those notepads and pencils. Let's get started. Would you like to learn acrylic pouring in person? Registration is now open for my August 17th, 2024 class in Plainville, Connecticut. Learn all about pouring mediums, paint consistency, techniques, compositions, using tools, and so much more. If you are interested in attending, send me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com, and I'll send you out the information. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another video. So what I have here is just last week's painting. I wanted to show you how well it dried. It's not resined yet, but look at that. Look at those beautiful effects that I got using mixing paint with just Floetrol. Now, this is a new series that I started where I'm going to go over weekly a different recipe with you, show you how to mix the paints with that recipe and what kind of effects you can get with it. This way, if you need help and you want a playlist to refer back to for each recipe, you will have that here on this channel. So last week, I showed you a trick with American Floetrol, and that trick was American Floetrol itself is like the perfect consistency when you pour it out into a cup and look at it and feel the texture of it. It's the perfect consistency that acrylic pouring paints should be for most techniques. Now, when it comes to other recipes and other products that you may use, it may not be the case. They may be thinner, and therefore you cannot use them as a guide to show you how thin or thick your paint should be. This week, we are using the European Floetrol. And guess what? The European Floetrol is almost exactly the same consistency as American Floetrol. So I'm going to tell you again this week that you can use European Floetrol as a guide to show you just how thick your paints should be no matter what you thin them down with. So for example, if you use pouring medium like Liquitex pouring medium, you would put some paint in the cup, add a few squirts of that pouring medium, and you would add water to it until it reached a consistency like this. So as I said last week, if you don't have American Floetrol and you're in the United States, I highly suggest buying a little tiny bottle of it just so you can see what I'm talking about. Because again, this is the perfect consistency guide right here. This is what you want your paints to look like when they're thinned down, no matter what you're using. Also, this week I'm using the European Floetrol. It produces beautiful results. Now, what is European Floetrol? It's called Owatrol, and they also sell this in the United States on Amazon. I'll try to put a link down in the description for you should you want to pick up a bottle. But again, this one too is like the perfect consistency on its own, so you can use it as a guide, as a baseline to judge whether or not your paints are the right consistency after you thin them down with whatever you use. I'm going to show you how to thin down paints with this, but just know if you want to use American Floetrol, then you can do that as well. Again, this series is just a tool for you should you need the help. I'm just going to show you how to mix up one color using Owatrol, the European Floetrol. So when it comes to measurements, they are not needed. Depending on how much paint you put in this cup, will determine how much paint you end up, or I should say fluid paint that you end up with in the end. So for example, if I just put a little squirt in there like this, I'm not going to be able to thin this color very far with the Owatrol before it starts to get very light. So what you want to do is put about a tablespoon worth of paint if you're using a little Dixie cup. What I usually judge this on or base this on is I'll just cover the bottom with some paint. Again, a little more, a little less isn't really going to change anything. So you don't have to be exact. Then I'm going to take the Owatrol, and again, I can pour just a little tiny bit in there. Whether I pour in that much or fill that cup up 3/4 of the way with it, the effects you're going to get are still going to be the same. It's just that you're going to make less fluid paint because you don't have that volume. So by adding all of that in there, I'm just making more volume of that one color. You're going to go ahead and mix it, but what's going to happen now is it's going to be thick because you've added something with body to your perfect consistency. So it's going to thicken it up, right? So what we're going to do after we mix this up is we're going to add a little bit of water to it to get it back to this thickness. Okay, so very, very thick. Now, just a few drops at a time, about 5 drops at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to add water until it goes back to what it felt like and looked like when it was in its natural state, or its original state. Still a little tiny bit thick, and you'll be able to feel it when you go like this with your stick. You'll be able to feel the difference. And also looking at the drizzle off of the stick, what that mound looks like will also help. Now I know this is a dark color, so I'll show you a light color in a minute. I added 5 more drops, and that's going to be perfect. So if you're using the European Floetrol called Owatrol, you're going to want a tablespoon of paint. Again, this is for the small Dixie cups. I believe these are 2-ounce Dixie cups. A tablespoon of paint. Fill the cup 3/4 of the way with the Owatrol. And if you're using American Floetrol, the same. Okay, fill it up 3/4 of the way, and then 10 drops of water. That is the approximate measurements for a medium-bodied tube paint like Amsterdam. Something similar would be Liquitex, Arteza, Artist Loft, anything that's in a tube, as long as it's not a real heavy body. The heavy body tubes are much smaller, and it'll say on the label heavy body. But this is perfect now, and that's how all of the colors are going to be mixed with this fantastic product that creates fantastic effects. Okay, so here's the gold. You can see the flow a little bit better on that one. All right, so that's it. That's as simple as I can make it for you. And all of my colors are mixed up like this today. So let's get started. Okay, so all of my colors are mixed up the same way that I showed you doing the dark blue there. So they're all Amsterdam except for the gold, which is 24 karat gold by Amsterdam. I'm sorry, by Deco Art. Geez, I can't think today. Right? And yeah, this product, I don't use it enough. It's just hard for me to get because I have to get it on Amazon, whereas Floetrol, I could go right to Home Depot and buy a couple of jugs. So I have a light blue, a dark blue, and a teal, and then the gold. So we're going to go very, very simple here. Now, This recipe, just like the Floetrol recipe, will work for almost every acrylic pouring technique out there, except for the bloom technique and the pearl cell technique, only because you need different kinds of products to achieve those looks. But everything else is game with this one, so go for it. So what I think I'm going to do, again, just like last week, is just intuition. Whatever my hand feels like doing on this canvas, I'm going to do. So I'm going to start off with filling up a cup with a little bit of white. And then I'm just going to pour my colors from up high into this cup. Whether they sink into the white or lay on top, I don't care. I'm just doing this to have a little fun, right? That's why we are supposed to be doing this anyway, to have a little fun and relax. So the first thing I'm going to do is just, I think, something like that. Then I'm going to grab another cup. Fill it up. Maybe reverse the direction or the way I put the paints in, not the direction, Tammy. Reverse the order. My words eventually come to me. All right, we'll add a little more white. I feel like one of those people at the fairs that demonstrate the knives, you know. Look at this, look at that. Oh, wow, look at this, what I could do, you know? All right, so I'm going to just continue on. We'll make one more cup. Or actually, we'll just use this one here. This time, a lot of blue. Tiny bit of gold, because I already have a lot of gold in that painting. Some white. Baby blue. And teal. We'll finish with a little more dark blue there. And then what should we do with this one? This time, let's just kind of ribbon pour through it. How about that? Now, before I go any further, I really think I want to add a little white around the border here, just to help with tilting. Whoa, a little too much white. Next, I'm just going to take a palette knife and put a little white on the back of it. I just want to see how this stuff swipes. So just a tiny little amount like that. And then we'll just spread it out with our stick. Nice thin layer. Let's just go through the whole thing for the heck of it. Why not? Just testing here to show you what this is capable of. All right, let's give it a torch. You see I'm getting a nice lacing going on. I'll just wait a few minutes to let it develop. This is a slow grower. It's not instantaneous like an Australian Floetrol would be. So we give it a few minutes to develop. You could see that's happening now. The cells are getting more bolder and you're seeing more of them. So about 5 minutes we'll wait. Right over here, I'm going to do a little mini ring pour so you can see how that behaves. A rippled ring pour seems like. Give it another torch. Kind of go through it with the palette knife, why not? And now I'm going to pick it up and tilt. When I tilt, now you see when I swiped, I got a whole bunch of lacing and cells. But when I tilt this ring pour out, you're going to see a whole bunch more develop. Alrighty, here we go. Now obviously this is way too much paint on this canvas, but I just wanted to show you a few different techniques that you can do on there. And you see those cells popping up where the ring pour was? Look at that. That is quite the galactic painting right there. Very, very, very pretty. So again, this is just one other additive that you can use in your paints to create beautiful lacing and cells that again is very easy to use as far as thinning down and knowing what the right consistency is. It gets a little more trickier when you're doing things like adding multiple ingredients into your paints to thin them down because you're trying to do the bloom technique or the pearl cell technique. But for every other technique out there, it is really straightforward. It's pretty easy. And you always have my in-person classes to come to in Connecticut if you need the extra help, which, by the way, next Saturday, the 17th, I'm holding a class. I have 2 spots left. So if you're interested, send me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com, and I'll send you out all the information. It's a 6+ hour class. We go over consistency. We do the Dutch pour. We do the bloom technique. I teach you how to thin down the paints. You get to take home your paintings. Plus, I do a free bonus resin class at the end where I do a demonstration showing you how to resin your paintings and answer all your questions you have about resin art. I really like this painting. I really like it. I like the dual techniques. I don't like just doing one thing. This was a lot of fun. And you bet your sweet fanny, when I get some resin on this, it's going to shimmer like crazy. Look at that. So, my friends, I want to thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to click like. Don't forget to leave a comment letting me know what you think. Check out the description for all the information on ways to follow me, ways to contact me, discounts on products that I use. And share this video with someone that you know that you may think would like acrylic pouring. All right? So again, this series is called Beyond the Canvas, and there's a playlist in which I'm compiling each video that I make from this series so that you can quickly access it if you should need some help with all the different recipes. So this is video 2. we'll be on to video 3, which, speaking of, I may not release a video next week, the 18th, because I have my class on the 17th. I may have time, but I'm not sure. So if you don't see me next Sunday, I love you all, and I'll see you next Sunday after that. And as always, happy pouring. Okay, so I haven't done this in a while, but here's a fish tank update. So I got some new friends in here, one being that pink pincushion urchin that you see straight back. That's Miss Rosie. Leo's still doing good. Lolly's still doing good. Of course, Bubble's still doing good. But here's a new friend. That is Sunny. He's got beautiful purple eyes and purple streaks going down the side of his face. And then Cher, because I had to get a Cher for Sunny, is somewhere over here. I'll show you in a minute, but I got these beautiful new corals that are doing great. There's Harry, he's great. Beautiful bubble coral. And there is Cher. Yes, I know the back of my tank is dirty. That's what I have to clean up every week. Ugh. But anyway, check him out. Or her out. She's so cute. It's a Bengai cardinal fish. Little polka dots on her lower fins. Very, very fancy. So, Sunny and Cher, that's them. The anemone's doing wonderful. It actually doubled in size, probably getting ready to split into 2. They multiply. But anyway, it's slowly turning into a coral reef. Woo woo. Alrighty, there's your fish tank update. Bye for now.